I beat Red Dead Redemption 1 about a month ago at this point, so I made some art about it. Spoilers, by the way, for Red Dead 1, which came out in 2010, almost 16 years ago now. If it looks like I'm reading something, it's because I am. I wrote a really long script for this because I cannot be trusted to not babble. Red Dead Redemption 1 is a video game from 2010 developed by Rockstar San Diego, previously known as Angel Studios, best known for making the port for Resident Evil 2 for the Nintendo 64 and the original Midnight Club, a game I personally used to play a ton on the PS2 back in the day. As Rockstar San Diego, they are known for such successes as being supplemental developers for LA Noire and GTA 5. Also, they made Red Dead 1 and 2 and every single other Midnight Club game. Red Dead Redemption 1 is the second game in the Red Dead trilogy. Its sequel being 2018's Red Dead Redemption 2, which is actually a prequel and the number 4 best-selling video game of all time. And its predecessor being 2004's Red Dead Revolver, which takes place in a different universe and has nothing to do with the other two games at all. In Red Dead 1, for the most part, you control a young 40-something-year-old man by the name of John Marston, who is a cowboy gangster who used to run with a notorious group of outlaws, run by a silver-tongued slippery snake named Dutch Vanderland. John starts the game being escorted to the town of Armadillo on a train by 2 FBI government types, and you quickly find out that John's made a deal with them where the government gets to kidnap his wife and kid, and John, in return, gets to know zero information about where they're hidden until he hunts down the remaining members of his old gang, Bill Williamson, Javier Escuela, and the aforementioned Dutch. Along the way, you get to explore a mildly empty desert and meet kooky characters like a snake oil salesman and a grave robber, while continually bouncing between the same 4 locations for every mission. Every now and then, you get to take a couple seconds to get off your horse and pick a flower that you'll never use or hunt an animal that you'll never eat. Aside from that, there are several side quests called stranger missions, which we'll come back to in a bit, but overall, it's a prime example of a mid-tier open world game of the time. Technically, it's actually a pretty good example of how most open world games were at the time, but by today's standards, pretty mid. In general, I was actually pretty surprised at how enjoyable I found the game. I had tried it once before back in, I don't know, when I had a 360, so 2011-ish, 2012-ish. I played the first couple hours and bounced off it because every mission was just wrestling cows or breaking horses, which was boring, and I felt like it took forever to get past that, so I just stopped playing it. But then I picked it up again this year because I want to play Red Dead 2, but I figured I should play Red Dead 1 first. The writing and the acting, for the most part, is quite good, and it was very obvious to me how it was able to get an apparently incredible sequel prequel. Dated as the graphics were, I still found myself stopping every now and then to look at a pretty skybox, or one of the many landscapes which range from brown to slightly darker orange brown to a swamp. And then at the end of the game, you get a little bit of snow. Overall, it was a pretty bland aesthetic, but I guess when it comes to the Wild West, at least it wasn't like an all-yellow desert. New Vegas. And surprisingly, for that era of Rockstar, I thought for the most part, the depiction of the Legibidaqua premium characters, of which there are 2 obvious ones, was quite tasteful and 90% subdued for 1911 Americas, but it wasn't all desert roses. The game has some pretty archaic mechanics, such as only being able to save the game if you go to a house location that you purchase, which are few and far between, or you can only fast travel if you set up a campsite and go through a clunky menu to choose from 4 or 5 different locations, instead of just being able to open the map and click any of the locations you want to go to and just teleporting there. But you can't set up a campsite within a quarter mile of any building or town or road, so you're constantly running all over the place trying to find a place to set up camp, clicking the button to try and set up a camp only for it to say, sorry, you can't do that here, and then having to run even further away when you find out you can't set one up. The inventory is split into 2 different menus, one which is in-game, which is kind of like a backpack, and it holds all the things that you're carrying that you like pick up or buy, but not your weapons. If you want to see your weapons or a quest log or a list of the different challenges you're trying to do, like hunting challenges or something, you have to go into the pause menu, and then there's like 30 menus there that you have to dig through to try to find the one you're looking for. And it's way too complicated. And from the little that I have played of Red Dead 2, it seems like it's the same thing. I don't know why they've done it that way. But the worst thing about the entire game to me was all of the Mexico portion. I don't know what they were thinking. Halfway through the game, you leave the US and go to Mexico to hunt down Javier Escuela, which on paper sounds super cool. You get new environments, new quests, new cultural flavor, etc. But in practice, they really dropped the ball on it. The environments look no different from the US. There's a dozen main missions there that literally bounce between the same 3 locations that are all really far away, and you can't fast travel to one of them. But the biggest sin of it is this incredibly well-written and acted John Marston character you've been playing as the whole time, who was like a charming, quick-witted gentleman kind of person, turns into the most cringy, almost racist dumbass, trying to assert his dominance in firefights by screaming terribly written one-liners that have heretofore not been in the game. It was such a weird decision. And in the end, all of the Mexico section results in basically nothing. You do get to catch or kill Javier, but in the final mission of Mexico. So you spend like 6 hours going back and forth, not advancing the story, while everyone you meet is taking advantage of you. It was such an enormous waste of time. I can't imagine how much money and resources went into making that half of the map when it results in nothing. And it's just not good. The absolute best part of the Mexico section, though, is this guy, Landon Ricketts, who was there for like literally 5 minutes, and his acting was so good that I like had to look him up on IMDb or whatever. And I found that he was this old-timey actor named Ross Hagen, and in Red Dead 2, they named a mountain after him, Mount Hagen, because he had died a year after making Red Dead 1 in 2011. So they named a mountain after him in tribute, which is pretty cool. His acting was quite good, and he had an incredible mustache in the game. At the end of the game, after you've hunted down the remaining members of your old gang, John finally gets to be reunited with his wife and son and another former gang member that the FBI doesn't seem to care about, named Uncle. And you get to spend some time with your bipolar family, who in one line will say, "Oh my god, it's so good to see you again. Praise you for all the work that you did to keep them safe, blah, blah, blah." And then in the very next line, scream at you that you were never there and that you've never done anything for them. It doesn't make any sense. I found that to be the case a lot of times, like characters would turn on a dime for no reason. But again, in general, the writing was fine. And after that, you get to the end of John Marston's story. The government, being the lying liars that they are, turn on John and his family and send literally the entire US Army to their tiny little farm to kill John Marston because he's the last remaining gang member. And John gets absolutely Swiss cheesed in front of his barn. Then, just as you think the game is over, fades to black, and when it fades back in, you are playing as Jack Marston, John's son, but all grown up now. And he's staring at the graves of his dad, his mom, who died like 3 years later of tuberculosis or something, and Uncle, who died when the army attacked their farm. And this is essentially so you can keep playing the game even though John's dead. You have an avatar to run around, finish up any side quests and stuff you want to do. The game's technically not over yet, because there's one unmarked side quest. Well, it's unmarked until you get like 1 inch away from it. That officially ends the game. This is a story of revenge. And now you, as Jack Marston, get to hunt down the government man who made your and your father's life hell and confront him. And when he does, the government man is just incredibly arrogant, as he always was. And he's rubbing like the Marston's family death and stuff in Jack's face. And Jack's just like, then the game freeze frames and big letters show up screaming Red Dead Redemption, and it was honestly pretty badass. And that's the actual end of the game. So what exactly am I painting here then? Remember earlier when I mentioned that there are side quests called stranger missions? Side quests called stranger missions, which we'll come back to in a bit.
See, I did say that.
Well, of the handful of the ones that I did do, one of them ended up being the thing I remembered most about this game. And I'm going to be reading directly from my script here because it's just going to be faster. In the opening cutscene on the train, a young racist woman by the name of Jenny is being hornswoggled by some form of also racist clergymen, as they are wont to do. And later, for a side quest called Jenny's Faith, you find her laying in the desert, and let's just watch. I found a clip of it. Let's just watch the whole interaction of this quest. It's only like 3 minutes.
Hello? Hello there.
Howdy, miss. What are you doing out here?
I'm thinking.
Have I seen you before?
Oh, yes, I think so. On the train from Blackwater, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah, you were talking with the preacher.
Yes, sir, I was.
I don't know if it's so safe out here, miss.
Oh, Jenny. You can call me Jenny. All right. I'm safe because I have faith. So, faith can move mountains. That's the whole point.
You're trying to move a mountain?
Oh, no, I can't do anything. But with faith, I can achieve great things. I know that. I know it.
You want me to take you back into town, ma'am? You seem kind of unwell.
Oh, I get such clarity out here. I see things purely. The world is so beautiful.
And full of things that'll kill you. Including illness.
Nothing's gonna kill me, sir.
Well, take care then.
She was just going to lay there and die. But luckily, I had some medicine on me, and I gave it to her. And how did she react?
Miss Jenny. Miss Jenny. Don't look like the Almighty's much inclined to help you out here. I was kind of worried about you, so I brought you some medicine.
Oh, heavens. Oh, praise you, Lord. I knew you'd save me.
Excuse me?
You see, it was only through his will that you were ordered to save me. Tell me, were there angels in your vision?
Jenny, can I take you back into town?
Praise you, Savior. I knew you'd save me.
Will you come with me?
Oh, I'm fine here, mister. I'm in heaven. Heaven.
Did you see that? Through her faith, she got some horrible illness, somehow ended up in the middle of the desert with no food, water, or medicine, and was perfectly fine with dying because that was God's plan for her, I guess. Except she wasn't perfectly fine with dying because when presented with the medicine, she praised God for sending an angel to save her. Except it wasn't an angel. It was a mass murderer who happened to have a bottle of what at that time was probably shoe polish and laudanum. And what that cutscene doesn't show is that after the cutscene plays, the mission just ends and she just continues to lay there coughing in the dirt. She never takes the medicine, it just stays sitting there. So why did I want to depict this scene in my painting? Why is it the thing I remember most from the game? It's not to make some commentary on how religion is predatory and worthless and that we should all be relying on the actual tangible help we can give each other. It's not about her misplaced gratefulness to the divine instead of the person who actually gave her life-saving medicine. It's not even about her refusing to take the medicine at all. It's about what I did next. Staring at her after the mission ended in hopes that a part 3 for her mission would show up, which never did. Staring at her, coughing her lungs up on the desert floor, While the medicine lay inches away in the dirt, I decided to exercise my God-given right as the player character to become the savior she actually needed. So I hogtied her, I threw her on the back of the horse, I drove her to the nearest town, which had a doctor, I placed her on the doctor's floor because you can't place people on beds in this game, and I freed her, thinking that at least if she died here in the doctor's office, she wouldn't be, like, rotting away in the desert sun, you know? And you know what happened next? She ran away, screaming Bloody Mary, and I, the person who objectively saved her life twice, got a $20 bounty put on my head that I had to go pay off before the sheriff killed me. That is video games at its finest. Thanks for watching.